Great. Hope you guys are doing super. Hope you guys are fantastic on this awesome Monday morning. Yes, guys, thank you for tuning in. This is the Entrepreneurs Chat. We're just a group of entrepreneurs meeting every weekday between 8 and 9 just to talk different aspects of business, personal development, so that we can empower and inspire each other to reach the highest level of expression in our entrepreneurial calling. So, guys, thank you for joining. Today, we are going to be talking with Mr. Tshilidzi. He's part of the family here. So, we're just going to be talking, amongst other things, just the implications of, you know, company registration and the likes, right? And that sort of thing. That's basically what we're going to be talking about. Business types and all these things. So yes, guys, let's thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Let's get cracking. Mr. Chilidza, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Super, man. Super. How was your weekend?
My weekend was great. My weekend was good. I really enjoyed myself. How about yours? How was it?
It was cool, man. Well rested. Always doing stuff. Always doing one or two things, but it is what it is, man.
Yes, very true. Very true. Am I audible that side?
You are audible and visible, so it's
Oh,
fantastic.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank
So,
you.
man, let's jump into it, man. Mr. Ndabe, high school literature, good morning to you. Tobile, thank you for the likes. Tsekofazo, thank you for the follow. Guys, let's like the live, man. You can tap on your screens as many times as you want. Good morning. I see you, Fiona, on the live. Tintin, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys are doing great. So, Mr. Chilidzi, man, if you can just introduce yourself for the purposes of the guys who don't know you. I know you have shared a bit here and there on the chat when there were other guests, but maybe if you can just tell us a bit about yourself.
Oh, okay. I'm the CEO of Vhuronga Holdings. It's a company that deals with company compliance. So, but mainly we do accounting work. But we also deal with safety, health, and environment, which is one of the most important things that businesses need to comply with. The labor department also we deal with that, central database. So basic things that small businesses do need to do, we help with that. So yeah, it's a company of around 6 people, myself and others who are working with me. What we do daily, we deal with small businesses. We deal with small businesses and we help them with everything that they need. So we are accountants, we are safety, health, and environmental officers, and we also have a paralegal dealing with contracts so that you have proper contracts with your other businesses that you're working with and also with your employees. So that's what we do in a nutshell, just to introduce myself.
Awesome. Thanks for that, man. Thanks for that. So, what's your background, man? What's your background in terms of your training, education, corporate experience, and the likes? How has been your journey? How has your journey evolved? Where did it start? That sort of thing.
Okay, my journey, maybe just give you a brief of what made me become who I am. Back in 1992, I'm just going
Mm-hmm.
back far back. My dad lost his job just before the end of apartheid. There was a lot that was happening at the time. If you check, the rand was around 2 rand 89 cents compared to the dollar at the time. But
Mm.
immediately after that, it skyrocketed and then it went down to a level low after that because a black government was coming in. So a lot of people lost their jobs, and my dad was one of them. And after realizing that in primary school you cannot have the privileges that you used to have, then I thought, you know what, I'm going to, when I grow up, I don't want people to have this thing called unemployment. I want to be able to create a lot of jobs. And the only way I can do that is become president like Nelson Mandela. Then I'll create a lot of jobs. But as time
Wow.
goes on, you start realizing that no, not really. You don't really need to be a president to be able to create jobs. Maybe starting a lot of businesses can help me do that. Tertiary level, I realized that no, I cannot own as many businesses as I want. So instead, let me go into the accounting field and let me help other people start their own businesses. And through that, we'll be able to create a lot of jobs. And that's what I've been doing. We have registered more than 600 companies since I started. I think between 600 and 1,000 companies since I started.
Wow.
We're still going, eh? We're still going. And most of them are working. They are creating jobs. So we are happy with that. And we are accountants. We're helping a lot of companies in accounting. And also those companies are doing well. So yeah, my experience to prepare myself to be the CEO of Vhuronga Holdings, I went into banking. I worked there for 12 years. 12
So in
years business
tertiary,
experience.
what did you study?
Okay, I did accounting. I
Okay, was
also
that
did
like a
banking.
BCom? How does that work? Yeah.
I did accounting with the University of Venda, but I finished it at Dameli. I have a 3-year qualification in accounting. I also did banking. I did banking. I have a qualification in banking. I also did financial planning. So my experience in banking is 12 years, financial planning is 15 years, accounting is 15 years.
Sure.
So the only thing left
That's a
now,
lot
I
of
want to,
experience.
the only thing left is stock market. I want to learn about the stock market and the digital currencies like your Bitcoin and all those. Those are the ones that if you ask me questions, I'm skeptical. So yeah, that's the situation with me.
Sure. So how did you
Yeah,
end up in all these fields, man? Like accounting, financial planning, banking. Which one started? Like, so have you like
the
practiced
one that
working in all
started,
of them?
I started studying accounting. As I told
Mm,
you, my dad could not afford a lot, and I was being helped by churches, my granny, and all that. So I could not graduate. So I went into banking. So I started.
mm.
I continued with my accounting while I was doing my banking. So I did banking while I was doing accounting at the same time.
So in which area of banking did you work? Like what sort of job was it?
Okay, in banking, I worked as inquiry clerk, as a sales consultant, entrepreneur banker, enterprise banker, sorry, business banker. So I worked in all those departments. I also worked as a bit of an administrator sometimes, acting manager. So I've been almost everywhere in the banking space. Then I was also doing insurance at the same time.
So that's when you went into what? Financial planning.
Yes, I went into financial planning. I worked with PPS. I worked with Sanlam. So those are the
Mm.
companies that I worked with. I worked with Capital Legacy. Those are the few companies that I worked with in financial planning. So 2015, I started my company because when I was doing my first interview at work, when I started working in the bank, the first question was, where do you want to, second question, where do you want to see yourself in 10 years from now? And I said, I want to be a CEO of my own company. And 2015, I started my own company. I became a CEO of my own company. And since then, I've been pushing the company. Right now, we have 6 employees that I'm working with in the company.
Awesome, awesome, man. So what are some of the lessons you learned during financial planning when you're doing financial planning? In
The
terms of
lessons,
people, like in terms of us as people, what are some of the
look,
lessons?
look,
Like, what are the key things that you learned?
one thing that I learned when I was doing financial planning is that you don't know what you don't know until you know that you don't know what you don't know.
Mm,
There are things that we think we know and we don't know anything about them.
wow.
One thing that stood out for me was that when you pass away, you are responsible to pay SARS. You must pay
Sure.
tax. You must pay tax after your death. So whether you have a loan or you don't, or you paid up your things, at the end, you must pay tax to SARS, and that might mean that you may lose some of the properties that you left behind for your children. So that's one thing that stood out for me. And another thing is the government decides, according to their law, on who benefits out of your estate if you do not have a will or maybe put everything in a trust. Something that is happening every day, where if you pass away, your wife loses everything to your brothers. So those are the basic things. And also maybe in the side of businesses, I've picked up that a lot of business owners take care more of the business side than their personal finances, and it messes them
Okay.
up on that side. Yeah.
How so can that mess you up?
Okay. They don't really know much, or maybe their accountants do not know much about personal finance, in such a way that if you are a businessman, you don't have a pension annuity in case you lose you become old and then you cannot do your job anymore. Let's say you're a plumber, you can't go on top of the roof or wherever you have to do plumbing when you're 90. You need to get some kind of income, and an annuity can do that for you. An investment in shares or something like that can also help with that. So, but then we don't have those securities. But besides that, we tend to not pay our debtors, and that messes up our profiles because we now want to channel all the money to the business, but forget about our personal finances and all that. So I'm trying to find a way to balance the two, you know.
Wow.
Yes.
So you are no longer in that space, or do you still do some work in that space?
I'm still registered as a financial planner. I'm still registered as a banker. I'm also registered as an accountant. So I'm not leaving any of those fields per se, though I'm not really practicing as a banker, but I am helping people with financial planning. I still have a company that I'm still working with on that side, on the financial planning side. So yeah, I'm still practicing as a financial planner.
Awesome, man. So, okay, cool stuff, man. So let's go to Vhuronga Holdings, right? What you guys are doing today. How are you? Because I mean, you say that you assist entrepreneurs in various ways. You even say that you actually, you've registered over 600 to 1,000 businesses, for people and all these things. So, what are some of your what are your services? Let's just list all of the services first. Then we will go into
Okay.
specific questions in case other people, because I heard someone here was asking about, let me go there. So, yeah, so we can just talk about the services so that maybe if someone needs something, they can just note that down, right? And they can just already
Okay.
know that you actually do things. I think it was about, yeah, ISO 9000. ISO
Oh, okay.
9000.
Okay. About that, our
That's
environmental
prudence.
officer, the person can contact us. They can look at my TikTok. They will find my details there. I will also leave my details with you. They can just email us. Our safety, health, and environmental officer will attend to them immediately, and then they will be able to communicate with her. I'm an accountant. I don't really do ISO, but then we have employed somebody who does that. So yeah,
Awesome, awesome. And where are you operating out of?
we're operating in Pretoria North.
Mm-hmm.
We're operating in Pretoria North, near Wonder Park Mall. So,
Okay.
but then when you asked about the services, what the services that we
So,
offer,
so
we
is
offer
it nationwide? That was my
it
next question.
nationwide. I mean, I do most of my work online. That's why you'll find me mostly online. Then we don't need to sit with you to register your company, because anyway we are doing that with sites. We don't really need to meet face to face. Usually I meet face to face with people I'm doing accounting for, where we need to coach each other and advise each other with such things. But mostly is a lot of things are happening online, you know.
Awesome, awesome. Auntie B, thank you for the gifts. Olukayode, thank you for the gifts. All right, cool stuff, man. Let's go into your services. I was saying we can go into the services.
My services, we offer bookkeeping, which is your daily accounting. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. So the services that we are offering, we offer bookkeeping, which is a day-to-day processing of your transactions. We offer accounting, monthly accounting services. We also offer once-off accounting services to those who just want to come and do their financials once-off. We're also doing paralegal services, like drafting your contracts, working with lawyers, dealing with all the legal matters, working with external lawyers who are giving us those services, drafting of contracts, to different types of contracts. We also deal with payroll, doing pay slips for all your employees and yourself. We also deal with safety, health, and environment, which is one important thing in the business space. We do other matters like helping you to register with the central database, COIDA, at the Labor Department. We are now also helping those ones in the building space with CIDB. So we help with all those kind of things with our for our clients. We also give business advice where necessary. You have a business idea, you want it to start flying, and then you want somebody to sit with and coach you. We can be able to assist with that too. We have been in business ourselves, and we have very experienced people. We do tax also. Tax, one big matter, and we do taxes for personal and business.
Okay, so personal and business tax. Yeah, I think we have
Yes.
never really spoken about personal and business tax yet. I think it's one thing that we need to talk about for sure,
Yes.
so that we can
Yes.
understand. You know, you always hear these people, artists, and say, "Oh, they SARS wants 40 million and whatever."
Yes.
You know, so yeah, it's a real thing out there, man. It's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
So yeah, okay, cool stuff. So bookkeeping, accounting, financials, payslip, safety, corridor, cool stuff, man. Business advice, taxes. All right, cool, man. So let's just start from the start then. Right? Let's just start from the start. I mean, someone wants to, you get your business idea. First of all, then you want to register a business and all these things. But from your end, what you've assisted multiple companies, strategy, and all these things. What is a viable business idea? How do you effectively conceive your business idea? I think conceive it. Is it bringing to life, or even starting to think about conceptualizing? How do you define that?
That's just conceiving the business idea, because if you are going to give birth to a child, you must become pregnant first.
Conceive,
and
then
then
you
after
give birth.
12 months, then you give birth to a child. When you give birth to that child will be 1 day old, but though the child has been existing for 9 months. So same with the idea. You may have the idea, but until you put it in practice and say, this is my business, then that's when the business starts existing. So it's the same thing. When you want to conceive a business idea, one best important thing, you must look for a need. What are you going to be addressing? My business was there to address unemployment, and that's what I'm doing. But not only that, I looked at the need that small businesses need to look at to grow, or for them to be able to grow. So because of that, I then now focused on the accounting side and the compliance side of things, which is a need right now. To be honest with you, a lot of people that we are having right now, today, out of the 75, maybe 50 of them may be needing proper accounting services and compliance, because we don't learn these things at school unless if we did commerce. So we identified the need, and we are focusing on that. And we identified that the market that we want to look at is small businesses, not big corporates. We could have gone to big corporates, but we chose small businesses because that's where we can create a lot of jobs. So that's what we focused on. So you need to just be able to identify a need. So if you look at rich people today, these powerful guys that you see on TV, the guys that you know that are the richest, some of them created softwares that were used all over the world and made things easier. Some of them created electric cars, no need for petrol anymore. You know, some of them created satellites where you can, be able to communicate with different people. So you need to create something different. You need to bring something different to the community that you're living in, and be able to help with that. Look at the situation now when we don't have electricity. Who is thinking of a solar farm? Are we thinking of solar farms, for example? How do we solve the problem of electricity in the country? Is there any way that a person can have electricity the whole day without being disturbed? Sorry. So such things, we need to identify needs. If you have identified a need, then it's easier for you to work on that need and be able to strategize and start a proper business.
So in terms of that, and I hear exactly what you're saying. How about for others who might say that, what, I don't have a new idea. I don't have something that's, revolutionary. What I have is I've already seen that other people are doing it, but I feel I can do that also. What do those type of people then do then, in terms of, can their businesses be successful? Can they operate effectively?
Yes, they can. They can. So it's not always that you need to have a new idea. Sometimes you look at the market itself. Is there a need for this type of service where I am or where I want to do my business? If there is, then you will be able to because you need to do your needs your analysis of the market, the competitors at the area, and look at how many other people
Or
are
maybe
having
how you
similar
can. Mm,
in the
I'm
area.
just thinking maybe how you can do it differently, I guess.
Yes, and also how can you do it differently? If you have, can I mention names?
Yeah, you can, man. I don't know. They're not paying us,
Yeah,
but
you know
it's
what?
fine.
At the same area, you will have KFC, Chicken Licken, and Nando's. But everyone is selling chicken. But these chickens have been cooked or fried differently. And
Mm,
the customers will prefer a certain type of chicken, and they will go for that. Same with pizza, same with grocery stores. You might find 3 or 4 in one place, but people have preference. So it's the same with the type of business that you're doing. We are accountants, and everyone in the accounting field are doing accounting. In Pretoria, we're a lot. But then where are we focusing on? Are we focusing on the same services that everyone else is focusing on, or are we bringing something extra for the customer to be able to get more out of our service? For example, as I'm saying, we no longer deal with the business alone. As a business banker, I realized that you can have a very proper financial statement, but if your personal finances are not in order, you are not going to get a loan from the bank because there will be no proper surety that you cannot be a surety in your business when your own business is messed up, your own personal finance is messed up. So
mm.
we
Yeah,
do bring that
I
in.
think as you're saying, sorry, just with regards to that, I mean, even when you want to take, you know, um, a loan for your business or to buy a car under your business,
Mm,
they still want the
mm.
director's personal finances.
Yes,
So you
yes.
don't just submit the company's 6 month bank
Mm-mm.
statements. They say, give us
No,
also the director.
we
We
want
want to
your
see.
stuff.
Mm,
Mm.
wow.
And by that time, you're not even paying yourself a salary.
Yeah.
You're just taking from the business. So it doesn't look good at the end of the day. You need to formalize your business, and that's what we do. We formalize your business because we register
Mm,
businesses, a lot of them, But after some time, we realized that no, but these businesses are being registered, and then people just put those papers away. Then let's go deep and then say, after registering your business, let's follow up and find out what you're doing. Let's help you, start a business. Let's help you with knowledge and everything. We can't finance you, but we can give you knowledge that can make that business work.
All right. So awesome. So then, okay, so you go out there, you've successfully conceived a business idea, say that, okay, this might work, there might be a gap in the market. I mean, we've seen the advent now of online deliveries and all these things that are coming up, courier companies, there's so many other businesses. So then what's your next step after that? What's your next step?
Can you repeat that?
Now I'm saying after successfully conceiving the idea. So this is the
Yes,
idea, it's there.
yes,
What's
yes,
what's
yes.
what's 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 the next step from there? And Tando, thank you
The
for the
next
gifts
step,
there.
the next step is looking at the types of businesses the type of business that you will need to be able to fulfill your dream or your purpose. I'm seeing that somebody's asking about.
Yeah. So I've seen the questions. So I think we
Okay,
are going
please note
to,
them
yeah,
if
I've
you can.
noted the question.
Okay.
Lerato D. So guys, we are going to open the comment section as well in a bit. So you guys can type your question, or you can just wait for then, so that at least it will be coherent, so that we don't have to go back so
Yes,
much.
true.
So I have noted the question there from
Okay,
Lerato, the
thank you.
questions from Lerato.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, so when you're looking at after having the business idea, you know where you want to start your business and all that, you now then have to look at the form of business that you want to start. Previously, people used to start CCs, close corporations, because it was not easy to open a PTY Ltd, which is a private company. Now, a lot of people are opening private companies. Some still want to do partnerships. Some just want to be sole proprietors. So you have different types. Some are doing cooperatives. Cooperatives usually are done by communities where you want the government to fund you with this and that, and you start maybe a community-based business where you are with maybe 5 or more people, sharing equally on the benefits that you will receive from the business, sharing equally on the money that you are going to invest in the business. But then a PTY Ltd is the one company that most people prefer because besides the fact that is a juristic person who is independent from you, it also allows you to start alone or with others. So you are able
Mm.
to start alone or with others. And it has a memorandum of incorporation and all those things. The rules are already there in the Companies Act. You don't need to create more rules. So you just go to the Companies Act. What about this? You now see, okay, if it comes to the shares, it's come to this, this is what we already have. So a lot of people are starting PTY LTDs with us. We have NPCs for those who just want to do non-profit work. Then you can start that because it's not everything that is about profit. Sometimes you just want to
Mhm.
help the community that you're living in. So then you make a choice on that and see what works for your business. You can register a PTY Ltd or an Inc. company. That is done a lot by some accountants and some lawyers. They prefer Inc. Incorporated company. Um, and those are the types. I'm not going to elaborate on that, but we can have another time to just discuss the types of businesses. But you have to choose one. So that is the most
Mm,
important thing
mm.
when it comes to it. But formalizing your
So
business is most important. Don't just work on your own because it becomes difficult when you want to deal with bigger companies. They want to give you work and you are just an individual. It's not that easy for them to give you work on your personal capacity, but they prefer working with a business.
and what are the other? So the ones you say you're registering the most is the PTY Ltds.
Yes.
Mm. And what are
Yes.
some of the advantages of those?
The PTY Ltd is an independent person recognized by law as an independent person with its own registration number, its own tax number, which means then the business money goes straight to the business account. Because if you look at the tax bracket of an individual, The tax bracket, when you start earning a lot, you pay a lot of tax. But that a lot for you is not a lot under a business company. It's just the minimum. It's just the beginning, where you still get a lot of benefits as a small business owner, compared to if this money was coming to your personal account. So you benefit a lot on that side. And also you become it makes it easier to formalize your things and separating your personal finances and business finance, because the company has its own life. You have your own life. You're separated from the business. So
And
those are
how
some of the advantages. Yeah.
awesome, and how is the process though? Like in terms of, because I think it's a big thing. I mean, you assist people with with registering companies. I mean, what are the key things to note when registering a company? Is this something that anyone can also just do by themselves, or are there some intricacies that one has to know? How does it really work with the CIPC and this issue of registering companies?
Look, it's something that anyone who is capable of using a computer can be able to do.
Mm,
And you can walk in at CIPC office in Pretoria and then be able to register. But usually when you get there, there's queues and there are guys who are standing there saying, I will help you. And still they may make you pay more than what we make you pay while you are being out sitting at home. So, but yes, you can walk into the branch. You can also do it online on your own. Is something that is possible to do, but a lot of people will prefer not doing it themselves, but ask us to help them. So it used to be about 2 weeks to register a company. Now you can do it in one day.
mm. And
You
just for
can
the purposes of the conversation, how much do you charge people to register a company?
to register a company, to assist you register a company, because actually we're not registering your company, we're assisting you. Including the money that we're going to pay to CIPC is 700 rands.
Mm,
Currently,
mm, mm.
that price may change at the beginning of the year. It's 700 rand, which is far less than some of the guys that are doing this thing. But then, if you will want us to do your tax clearance certificates and all that, then we can charge for that separately.
No, no, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. All right, cool. So therefore, okay, now, I mean, you mentioned something and you say that we've seen that when people register the business, they don't use the documents, which I think even those documents, like I've seen the documents, sometimes, one can say, okay, I've registered a company, at least I've got a bank account. You go to your bank, you give them the documents. Yeah, I'm operating.
Hmm.
Uh, I mean, how else can what do I have to do after registering the business in terms of still, I don't know, is there more benefits to be gotten from those documents? How does it work, man?
So the other thing that I'm picking up with a lot of registrations is that some people are registering because we think that after registering a business, immediately there will be a tender that I will get, and then from the tender, then I'll make a lot of money. And
Mm,
then when you realize that it's not something that just happens just like that, then you just stop. But then it goes back to the business idea. If you were to say in the community that I'm living in, people need ikota, for example. In the
mm,
morning when the kids are going to school, they need to have skaftini, and then I can prepare kota for them. And you have identified that need. After registering your business, I don't think you will wait and say, I need to get somebody to give me a tender or anything. You're just going to start doing quotas and then start selling. So while all other opportunities come, they find you working. Work with what you
mm,
have while waiting for bigger opportunities. Because if you're working also, like any other person, they will say go to internships and do all these things so that you can get experience. And then after getting experience, you can get a better job. It's the same with business. If you're going to sit with your qualification at home and think that you will gain experience without going to do voluntary work or work as an intern or whatever, you're not going to get that experience. And without that experience, it's not going to be easy to get a job. Same thing with the business. If you register a business, do something with that business. The Companies Act no longer require you to focus on a certain thing. You can be able to sell magwinya today and later be doing what your qualification requires you to do as an accountant. But you were selling magwinya at the start. So you need to work. Those papers are there for you to start working, gain some experience in the business space. You learn a lot while you're doing that. You understand your customer base and all those kind of things.
Wow,
So,
no,
but
that's
then let's
awesome,
start
man.
working.
No, so
Whatever we have. Yes.
Benzile, thank you for the likes, but Tobile, thank you for the likes as well. Guys, let's like the live, man. Let's like the live. Let's share the live. Mr. Tshilidzi is sharing some important information here. So you said you also help businesses with strategic planning. I mean, what is strategic planning? What is the benefit of strategic planning? Is this applicable to all businesses in the likes?
Okay, strategic planning usually is part of what we call a business plan. Strategic planning, the strategy, if you're going to play soccer, for example, you must have a strategy on how you're going to be able to score today. This team plays like this, then I must be able to come up with a different strategy on how I'm going to win. Strategy is a word that's used mostly in wars, where you have to have a strategy to be able to win the battle or the war. So it's the same thing in business. We must have a strategy because you are going against other competitors who are going to be in the same space. And how are you going to be able to maneuver in that space? Because at the end of the day, somebody was asking, why do businesses fail? Then sometimes we fail because we don't have a strategy. So you need to have a vision. You need to have a vision to say, you know what, this is what my vision is. And when you have a vision, you need to also have a mission on how you're going to achieve your vision. You need to have goals to say, these are goals that I'm setting now. And in the short-term goals, maybe in the next year or so, this is what I want to achieve. In the next 3 years, in the next 5 years, this is where I want to be. So that you can have a mind map of what your business what you want your business to be. So all these big businesses had to have goals. They had to have a vision and a mission on how they are going to be able to strategize and get to where they want to get to. But one most important thing, you must have values. You must have values. Values, values, values. If you don't have values, then it makes it very difficult for you to achieve your goals. Because you may think, okay, fine, we are going to start an accounting business, and you don't have values, which means you also don't have a corporate culture. Then you start employing people who will come with their own characters, and they cannot get into the character of the business. They bring their own character and they mess up your clientele. Maybe they are rude. Maybe they don't have manners and all those kind of things. Maybe they're also rude to you as the business owner, and they just create problems in the business. So you need to have values, and you also have to have a proper corporate culture in the business that you instill to every single person that comes in. This is how we do things here. A simple example of a corporate culture. We are on this platform now on live. Not everyone is just clicking and coming in and then say whatever they want. If you go to other TikTok lives, you will find that there are 10 people on the screen. Everyone is saying whatever they want at the same time. In your space, it's you and me, and others are just typing in. They will be given a chance to speak. You understand? That's a culture that even that person who is on the other live, who is just talking without being pointed at, when they come here, they realize that no, you cannot do this here. Here you have to behave. And they start behaving. That's a corporate culture. Yes.
Yeah. So culture is very important, and that was going to be my next question in terms of, how do you even, start, identifying a culture you want, and even trying to implement that culture, even if you are one man, because we know our businesses, guys. We start as one man most of the time.
mm,
So issue of culture, does it always start when there's someone else? Does it start with you? But before you answer that, I know you're already shaking your head. There was another important question I wanted to ask you with regards to strategy, right? Business strategy. That's what we're talking about. In a team setting, you know, how often do you do meetings? Do you do weekly meetings with your people to touch base? Do you just have a WhatsApp group, for example, whereby people are just talking if there's something that has risen up? How do you do it, man? Was it something that I'm, in my mind for our guys, I'm like, do you have to do this every week or what? Or how does it work? And when you do those weekly meetings, if you do them, what are you touching on? What are the important things you're
Okay.
touching on?
There are meetings. If you're a group of people, maybe if you're two, you may just have a phone call and then talk, or maybe meet in the morning and talk. Usually in big corporates, they have meetings daily, especially if you are dealing with services. Daily in the morning, you have a meeting and then you talk about what happened yesterday. But in smaller companies, you can make a choice. You can decide not to have daily meetings and have weekly meetings. The reason why you need to have meetings, you may have missed one client. You're dealing with work now. You're dealing with the ground work that you're doing daily work. So you need to meet and talk about the service that you are supposed to offer to Mr. So and so. Talk about all the clients that you are having on pipeline that you're working on pipeline, or the clients that you're working on. What are the new clients that are coming in, and all those kind of things. You need to have that meeting maybe in a week. And depending on whether it's just one department in your company. For example, in my company, we have paralegal, we have marketing, we have safety and health, we have accounting. So the accounting guys will have a separate meeting of their own once a week. The marketing guys will have a meeting of their own once a week. And just like that. That is on the ground where we're doing work. But once a month, you will have a meeting of the whole team where you're trying to strategize and come up with ways on how do we tackle the next month, and what are the things that we want to look at, where do we need to improve, and all those kind of things as a company as a whole. But 4 times a year, we have a meeting of the board where the board seats, and then look at the plan that we had at the beginning of the year. Is it going well? Where are we lacking? What do we need to do to be able to achieve that? And then once a year, we have our strategic planning meeting where we look at the strategies. So those are the meetings that we have. It's a lot of them, but they're very important.
No, I can imagine, man. I can imagine.
As long as they don't waste your time. As long as they don't waste your time, you don't need a day to do a meeting. You need to just keep it short, straight to the point, and focus on that.
And I guess you also have to identify like key KPIs, the key areas you want to talk about.
Yes.
I think that's so important. So going back to the
and also maybe recognizing the employees who are doing well. And looking at those who are not doing well and see how you can improve. You help them improve their work. So not recognizing your employees is one of the worst things that you do, and look for mistakes only all the time. When they make mistakes, then you start talking.
No, it's very important. I mean, no one wants to be in that situation. I mean, even in your own home, no one wants to be in that situation. You can't just be talking about the bad things. There are also good things. And sometimes you just look, and it's free, right? I think and I said the other day that compliments are free. Compliments are free to give, but they are so powerful in the sense that someone can be motivated to do more. Compliments, they are seeds, right? Where someone is affirmed, and that's very important, because I mean, whether you like it or not, as a business owner, the issue, guys, of talent, talent, it's about you, right? One of my ex employers used to say that there are no bad employees, it's just bad managers.
So a simple example of schools. I know a school in Limpopo, they get 100% every every year, almost every year, they get 100% pass rate on their grade 12 learners. Next door to that school is another school. That school is not featuring anywhere. The kids from both schools are from the same village. So the question is now, is it the kids or is the teachers? You know? So that is why we fire the coach most of the time.
Or the headmaster.
The headmaster, yes.
So yeah,
You know?
so I think it's up to you. I mean, it's on us. I think if you're a business owner, you can never say, "Oh, these employees are bad." Either you try and fix the employee, and within certain parameters, you do your set, your job's description. You do your performance improvement, your evaluations. Do as much as you can in terms of culture. And if they are not cutting it, they have to go. So you can't just be
True.
complaining. So that former boss was saying, you can't complain about someone. What are you doing about the person, right? Either maybe you don't have enough incentive motivations. You're not complimenting, or whatever you are doing as a manager. So if you are failing in that, then it's either it's you, because there's a certain point you also need to look at things such as staff turnover and all these things. Why are you failing to get the best out of people, to the best of
True.
your abilities? Of course, I mean, obviously there are things that you can't take out of people, but back to the question of culture before we then open the requests here.
The corporate culture, it's like your family, you know. Though we don't learn this at school or as a man in a family, but in your own family, you have a certain culture. How we do things at my house and how we do things at your house is different. You want what will work for you and your wife. If you're married or with your partner, you will sit down and say, no, these are the rules on how we buy our groceries per month, how the kids, when they come back from school, this is what they do. This time the kids must already be in the house. This time the kids should be going to sleep, and all those kind of things. Yes, there are things that are general knowledge, or maybe something that you can learn from the Companies Act that you need to implement. But there are things that you can choose whether you're going to have a meeting where everyone is angry or scared, or a meeting where everyone is laughing and making jokes and then happy. You can choose to be a leader that leads from the front or a leader that leads from the back. Where your people, you can create a culture where your people feel like they are the owners of the business and they can operate on their own without you. Or you can create a culture where they cannot touch anything without your consent, which means then everything must pass by you, and if you're not there, everything must stop. So you create those types of cultures in the business. So if you're leading with fear, you're still going to have a lot of problems. But if you become a coach or a leader who then allow people to share to be part of the business, you don't have to just be you and then it's done according to your way or no way. You employed these people for a reason. You cannot, for example, I have a tax practitioner in the business. I cannot employ a tax practitioner and then reduce him to some employee that must take all the instructions and be told what to do every single minute. He must also be given a chance to bring in his ideas to say, Mr. Mavhungu, I think this is how we can work here. Then I say, yeah, let's do that. Let's see how it works. The other thing is to have a proper proper contracts for all these things. Formalize it. Have contracts. You talked about disciplinary hearings and stuff like that. That needs to happen. CCMA won't take anything if there's no evidence of whatever you're talking about. You need to have proper contracts with your employees. They have to have performance development. You need to have a process of disciplinary if you need to discipline them. All those things form part of corporate culture, where I know if I go to work in the morning, I'm going to work. I'm not going to be busy doing other things during working hours. And my boss expects this from me at the end of the day, you know. So you need
Mm.
all those things to form part of corporate culture and
No,
a character
definitely.
of
How
it.
about so how about culture when it comes to me? I'm one man, right? Let's say I'm one man
Yes,
and I've just registered my business, you know.
yeah.
Before I've got money to employ people, still building this
Mm,
thing.
mm,
How about
mm.
culture when I'm just alone?
Culture when you're just alone, it's more of separating your business from you, letting your business have its own life
Mm,
and not you being the business. Because most of the time you find that you cannot differentiate between yourself and the business. Vhuronga Holdings is a separate entity on its own. It has its own life and its own account. It deals with its own challenges its own way. Tshilidzi is somebody else. He deals with his life separately. So create that corporate culture. Treat it as if you had employees. If I was an employee of this business, how would if I had employees, how would I expect them to behave in the business? If I would expect them to do their work from 8 o'clock to 4, which means I must then sit in front of my computer or deal with my clients from that time until that 4 o'clock. For
mm,
example,
mm, mm,
even if I'm working from home, 8 o'clock, I'm getting ready to work and I start working. It's a culture. Every day, Monday
mm,
to Friday. You wake up in the morning, you start working, whether you're working from home, from the office, or wherever. You wake up and do your work because the company's time is the company's time, whether you're alone or with others. So sometimes the reason why these papers are just sitting somewhere is because even if, let's say, you're not having a full-time job and you just want to push the business, you tend to focus more, take still time that the business was supposed to be having and use it for yourself. So the corporate culture is not there. You need to create a culture. If you were employed by a bigger company, you would wake up in the morning, stay on traffic to be able to get to work. Do the same in a small business when you're alone. Wake up in the morning,
man,
go to work,
have
work until late.
mm,
You know, have rules and regulations for your own self in your own business and follow them. And that's where you're going to build a corporate culture where even the next person when they come, they follow that. There's maybe just give you an example of these monkeys that were in a cage, and there was a ladder inside the cage, and on top of the ladder there on the ceiling there was some bananas hanging. One monkey goes up and then he wants to take the bananas, and the sprinklers start pouring water into the room, and he goes down. The other one tries the same, and then the water comes out again. Then these people bring in another monkey inside. When this new monkey that came inside, it tries to go to fetch one of the bananas up there, these other monkeys grabbed him and started beating him up. Why? Because they know you don't touch those bananas, because if you touch them, there'll be water that will come out. And
mm,
that's a culture. Now everyone will follow the rules, and no one had to, push it on them. They realize that this is how things are done. So it's something that if you're going to be working with people, if they find that there's already culture, they will follow it. But if they find that there's nothing, they'll just do as they like. Formalizing your business, very important.
it's very important, man. I mean, I see Jackie the farmer here. Thank you for the likes. K Praise or Academy. Thank you for the likes. Elijah, user of 748 CPG or Drama Zibuile. Ina Smith, thank you for the likes. Most but Tobile, thank you for the likes, man. I mean, it's very important. I think Jackie the farmer is one of the most hardworking people I know. I mean, she doesn't have to be told, you're delivering spinach, to 5, 6, 7 shops. You don't have to be told to wake up.
That's
You
a
don't have to be.
culture. That's a culture. That just imagine she wakes up in the morning, she's like, you know what, today I'm lazy. These people will see, I'll see them next week. And she doesn't deliver the spinach. Those people are not going to wait
Mm,
for her. They are going to get somebody else to deliver the spinach. So
mm,
that's a culture,
mm,
especially farmers, very, very strict people. Wake up very early in the morning to do their work, you know. And
mm.
you can't be a farmer if you will be lazy to wake up in the morning.
Wow, man, that's so true, man. That's so true. Hey, K Praise, thank you for the likes. Wesley, thank you for the likes as well. So awesome, man. So we're gonna just accept some requests here. So there was one question from Lerato. Lerato was saying, what's one of the biggest reasons that most companies fail? That was Lerato D. Yes, I think that was the first question up in here.
Okay. The one big challenge that businesses are having is lack of support, lack of knowledge, and also not knowing how to strategize your business or planning for your business. Because in a business space, there's a time where cash flow becomes very important. If you start as a one man and work alone, you know that whatever comes, you can maybe pay yourself a small salary out of that. But the minute you start bringing other people in, then it means you must be consistent on how you receive the income in the business, because these people that you have employed must be paid. And also the resources that you need to use will have to be paid for on a monthly basis, for example. So the minute you can't meet your expenses because you didn't make enough money in the business and you don't have cash flow, then that can just, strangle your business right there and you close down. So you must know how to downscale the business and how to upscale the business while you're working. There will be good times and bad times in business, and also knowing your seasons. Some people don't know their seasons. For example, it's December now. The services companies are not going to be busy, but the commodities, the guys that are selling food and all those kind of things are going to be very busy. So you must understand your business. I'm not expecting somebody on Christmas Day to be phoning me that I want to register a company. They won't be concentrating on that. They'll be busy celebrating. So maybe I should start thinking, why don't I then start selling ice? So why don't I start selling bread and cold drink and all these things that they want to use when these Stockfell guys want to buy? Then I say, hey guys, I have all the things that you need to buy for your Stockfell. Then make money out of that side. So you must know your seasons on how you'll be able to survive. So if not knowing that, not having that knowledge and not sharing, that's another thing. Not being in spaces like this where people share and you can know if I'm in the baking space, Mr. So and so is a baker, Miss So and so is a farmer, and be able to communicate with them and say, look, I'm in this space, how do I get out? So being on your own, like being an individual and working on your own, is one challenge that we are currently experiencing in the space of business. Everyone is doing their own thing. You don't want to ask others because you feel like they will think I'm failing. You need to get that help. We are not
That's
where
so
we are
true.
because we are fat. Right? We need
Mm,
others. Yeah.
mm. No, that's so true. That's so true. And I think one thing that's come out of what you're saying as well is just that issue of the cash flow management, over
Mm,
committing when you're
mm,
starting. Guys, this thing
mm.
of offices, it's so 1999. You don't need some big office when you're alone and whatever it is. If you need a place, there are please shared offices. You can have a virtual desk. You can have this. You can just hire out a boardroom. If I mean that's like if I don't know who you want to impress, but you can just go and meet clients via
Mm,
coffee shops. Some of these places
mm,
like spaces
mm,
have
mm,
cafes.
mm,
So don't
mm.
overcommit. The problem is people
Oh,
overcommit before they
overcommitting.
even start get
Mm.
money. And these
So
rental places, they'll penalize your business, right? I mean, some of the guys, if you have filed 12 months contract, for you to get out of there, it will be a challenge. They won't allow
it's
you.
very true. Yeah,
Mm,
you know, and that's one thing where I say the legal side of things also is very important in business. You have done legal, you know a bit about that, and you get into contracts that you didn't look at properly, and you're committed, and getting out is difficult, and you may end up closing down, right?
You close down. I mean, it's also expenses is the reason why people close. So really, the thing is, give your company that time to grow. It's and be patient, right? It's going to take
One other
time.
thing, one other
Mm,
thing, Henry, is being too quick. You know, as I said, you conceive a child, you become pregnant, you give birth, and that child starts at crash, primary school, going up for years. By the time the child start making money, is how many years? 21 years later. That's when the child start making money. All these 21 years you have been spending on the child. It's the same thing with business. Don't
I like
just
that's
jump
that's
into
a,
it.
that's an analogy I also use, right, in my own mind.
Yes. So don't
That's
jump into things and say, you know what, I'm now going to compete with ShopRite. You just registered your company yesterday and you go for this big project that needs 100 million. I know of guys when I was working as a banker who came in, get a project. You're just a new business. You have not, yeah, maybe you have been there for some years, maybe 2, 3 years, but you have not done any project, proper project. And all of a sudden, there's this 5 million project. They give you the papers, you run to the bank, give me 5 million. You take the 5 million, you go do the project, and they don't pay you.
wow.
The bank wants 5 million from you. You are the surety of the business. And the 5 million is asked for from your own salary now, personal income. They, you may have to sell some of your properties or whatever to be able to pay off, because they will attach those things at the end of the day if the agreement was that. So you end up losing a lot because of
No,
not really properly weighing yourself. You must fight battles that you know that you're going to be able to win.
that's so true. That's so true. Babukulu, thank you for the likes. CPG, Rita, thank you for the likes. Here by Zap, thank you for the likes. Awi Nels, Wesley, thank you for the likes. Yes, as Jackie's saying, contracts people just sign without, initialing, without reading. That's so true. Every page. So yeah. I mean, this issue of commitment. So there was also another question from Ina. Ina was asking, Ina Smith was asking, why do they have to check your personal finances if you want a business loan? If the business wants
Okay,
the loan,
I
the
will give a
directors.
very I will give a very simple example. When your child passed grade 12 and you don't qualify for this government funding like your NSFAS and all that, what you will do is that you'll go to the bank and ask for a student loan. The child is the one that is being funded, but the parent must bring his own financials to the table so that we can say, okay, fine, the child is going to be funded, and the child, if he finishes school, he may be able to pay this loan. But in case that does not happen, you as the parent, you sign and say, I will take care of this loan. That business is your baby. You are growing that business. As I said, it's a small child that is growing. It's not at a corporate where you can say this business is big, it has assets, it has all these things. So you are the parent of the business. And if the business fails, they will rely on you. Somebody said a lot of small businesses fail. Why do they fail? And we answered that question. The banks and the funders know that there's a high possibility that you're going to fail as a small business. And they don't want to take the risk of losing all their money because they did not have anyone signing. Remember, a business is an independent entity,
Personality,
which
yeah.
means if I did not sign surety to say I am going to take responsibility, they cannot come to me because they were dealing with the business as is. Now, the only way by law for them to come for me is when I have signed down and said, as the director, I'm taking responsibility in case this happens. So that is the main reason why. Or else they were going to lose a lot of money because of small businesses that
And
just take money and go for holidays with that money instead of doing business with it.
and the mere fact that it's still you who's involved. So
Yeah.
if you're a reckless spender, a reckless, whatever, you'd get loans and you have bad financial habits, guess what? You're still the director of that company. It doesn't matter if it's got a separate name, because you're
Mm.
still in charge of the finances of the company. That's why they want you. They want to
You are the
see
one
your
who's going to
habits.
decide how the money is used.
It's you.
Mm.
So that's why they want you. Tebza, I mean, alluvial diamond mining. It's very difficult to get funding in that type of business.
Yes. I was talking to somebody who was working in the mining space. It's one place that a lot of us not have not learned a lot about. The mining, diamond mining or gold mining or whatever type of mining. It's a space that I think we need to learn a lot about and understand it better. And I actually think that the funding part is also difficult because of that. We do all these other things, but when it comes to mining, it's something that is so far away from us. According to maybe we think that we are not supposed to be in that space. And also, one other thing that you need to know is that getting funding is based also on the history of funding such businesses. No one wants to fund something that is new to them. If your business is totally different from others that they have been funding for some time, it will be a bit difficult for them to fund you. If I'm doing chicken farming, for example, and this funder that I'm going to has funded 10 or 11 farmers before and everything went well, or they have somewhere where they can go and look and say, oh, this type of business is doing well, then they will be able to fund easily. We need to, I think there's still a need to understand the diamond mining business. We thought it was something that is done by big corporates, and we never got involved that much in that space. And right now, I might not have an answer why the funding is that difficult, but I can search for that. I think maybe you can just follow me on my LinkedIn, or maybe send me a message on my TikTok, or send me a message, or go to Vhuronga Holdings TikTok and send me a message there, because mostly on my personal, I do other things totally different from business. You'll be shocked when you see what I post on my personal TikTok. But on my business TikTok is Vhuronga Holdings.
Awesome, guys. Go and see the shocking things on Mr. Tshilidzi's profile, yeah? Follow him, get his details, and do what you have to do so that, you can get the conversation bigger. So, guys, man, I think, for today, we've done the most, man. Guys, if there's no one else to request, we're going to end it here. Then we'll obviously arrange other lives. I think there's other things we're going to have to talk about as well, especially with regards to the finances side of the business, especially with regards to the issue of tax, the tax implications of businesses and the likes. I think you also help people, if you haven't been filing your taxes, how to get back on track, so that you can also, be able to build your company. Bashi Fragrance, thank you for the gifts as well. Eric, how are you? Hi, Eric, are you there?
Hi, Eric.
Maybe they requested by
Yes,
mistake.
I'm here.
Okay, you can continue, please. Love, you'd also requested, if you still love Nsako, if you still want to request, please feel free, because I think I'd accepted, but maybe there was network. Eric, do you want to say something?
Hello.
Right.
Eric, we can hear you. You want to say something?
No, it's fine. I think you request again if he wants to say something. Yeah, but so let's talk about that, man. Let's talk about. I don't know what do you. Maybe there's something else, but I think tax is a big one.
I just want to touch on one thing.
Mm.
I want to tell you some statistics. Shoprite has 145,000 employees. Spar has 410,000. Anglo American has 90,000. That is a total of 645,000 employees. So for us to deal with unemployment currently, we need 16 global companies, big corporates, to come to this country to be able to solve this problem. Or we can have 1.6 million small businesses. 1.6 million small businesses, and the issue of unemployment has been dealt with, and we'll be left with around 500,000. If we do that in 3 years, we'll be left with around 500,000 people who are unemployed, who are looking for work. And that 500,000, because of the taxes that these companies are going to be bringing in, the government may be able to absorb them. And you have dealt with the unemployment rate. So small businesses can do this, and most of the countries that you look at and admire, whether it's in Europe, America, the Asia, most of them, a big chunk of contributing into the economy is from small businesses. And with those, you have a business that will stay in your country for almost all its life because it operates there. Unlike a big global company that can just decide to shut down and move out of your country at any time. Though they have options, but small business owners do not have options. Whether we're on junk status, whether we have no electricity, we must soldier on as small businesses and in the country. But some companies can decide to move. So that's where you can create permanent, reliable employment with small business owners. So never ever underestimate yourself.
So that's 1.6 million, even if they don't employ anyone besides themselves.
If they employ around 5.
If they employ around 5. So what's unemployment sitting at what now?
I'll tell you now. Where is the unemployment rate? Not really. We are approaching 40 something to, I think it's 20 something percent. I don't have it here with me right now, but I do know that when I calculated, it gave me that we need 1.6 million companies employing 5 people each. But currently, we have 2.6 million businesses already existing. Small businesses, 2.6. We need 1.6 to be able to achieve our goal. But maybe next time I'll give you the details on the unemployment rate. Yeah.
That's awesome. Eric, how's it? Hi, Eric.
Hello.
Hi, Eric.
Yes, please continue, Eric.
I'm good, you?
We are good, Eric.
Yes, so I wanted to, I have a quick question. Yes. I wanted to find out if this organization funds business outside of South Africa. And
you wanted to find out what? Can you repeat that, Eric?
If your organization funds businesses outside of South Africa? I think it's network.
Okay. We don't really, Eric. We don't fund businesses. We assist businesses with their finances when it comes to accounting and compliance. We don't fund. We can just assist you if you are going to be asking for funding on the paperwork. We will assist you with paperwork, and then everything will be done. Then you can go and ask for funding. As to whether we do deal with businesses outside the country, yes, we do. We have businesses that we are operating in Kenya, Ghana. We have businesses that are doing business in Europe and also in the Americas.
Okay.
Awesome. Where are you, Eric?
Where are you, Eric?
I'm in Ghana.
Ghana. Oh, great. Beautiful country. Eric,
I'm in Ghana.
We will be able to look at how the Ghanaian law in business work. If we need to collaborate with a Ghanaian accountant or a Ghanaian person that can be able to assist, we'll do that. But you can communicate with us.
All right, Eric. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think your network is a bit of a challenge, but guys, that's cool. So what we're gonna do, let's do this again, Mr. Tshilidzi. We'll organize a time. Maybe we can talk about the taxes and the likes and how to fix your tax issues and what are the benefits of that, getting back on track. But I think the point of business is for you to become as efficient as possible, because if, as you're talking about, you don't want to be in a position where you can now potentially get certain contracts, but because of your tax clearance situation, things are not right.
That's a simple thing. Simple thing. Instead of going to the tax man can cost you a contract.
So you're limiting your business.
Yes, you
So
talked about the unemployment. We actually have 8 million unemployed people who are looking for work in the country.
wow, that's something. That's something. So guys, man. So thank you very much. Let's do this again. Uh, let's do this again tomorrow, guys, between 8 and 9. Talking about entrepreneurship. So last week we had an awesome live as well. With Lumpumlo Joka. So if you guys if you missed that live or you wanna catch up on that live is on YouTube now, talking about developing entrepreneurial leadership. So that live is on YouTube right now. If you want to check that out, we did that live on Friday. I'm gonna post the link on our WhatsApp group. So join our WhatsApp group. The link is in the bio. I'm gonna post this live as well, so you can catch on to the lives on YouTube as well. Guys, the other thing that we're thinking of doing, what a lot of people are finishing they are going to be starting work next year, like a lot of people, graduates and all these things. I know we're entrepreneurs here, so we're actually thinking of doing an indab, right, for graduates, graduate recruitment programs and all these things, what they can expect next year. So I'm getting some people involved just to talk about the different industry, architects, law, illegal, those are going to be starting articles, those are going to be starting in the different fields, right? In the different fields, accounting. So that sort of vibe. So anyway, what we want to do, guys, I think that's gonna be between the 5th and the 9th, I think, and it'll be at lunchtime. So it's a different time. It was something different to us between what we do. But man, if there are other industries, maybe you think some people would want to know and invite these young people who are going into these doing articles next year, what to expect when they go to work. In terms of your own experiences, yeah, let me know if that's cool, something that would be interesting. But yeah, man, I'm excited about that. So guys, man, much love to all you guys. Much love to all you guys. Let's do this again tomorrow. Join the WhatsApp group, Success Inspiration. The link is in the bio. You don't have to worry about a lot of people posting, because only admins can post announcements, links, and the likes. So, guys, much love to all you guys. Mr. Tshilidzi, thank you very much. Let's do this again soon. So, guys, hey, cheers, guys. Let's do this again soon.
Thank you so much.
Cheers. Remember,
thank you so much
our dreams
for
are
good
valid.
live. Yes, thank you.
Cool stuff, man. Thank you, sir. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.